everyone. Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic sunburns are in Toyotas. I don't get along well with the sun. Then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler. Joining me today on another episode of the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast is the one and only Mr. Jimmy Jet. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing well. Thank you. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm burned.
I got sunburnt this weekend also.
Wow. Okay.
Probably not as bad as you because you're complaining about it. Mine wasn't that bad until I jumped in the shower and then I was like, oh, I did get burned.
Yeah, I am in so much pain right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that bad.
And my transformation to being a lobster is almost complete.
There you go. My Italian skin has made it so that I'm already almost healed.
You bastard. My Danish skin does not agree with the sun.
There you go. No,
oh, man.
No wonder you like the cloudiness and the rain and the
snow
and frozen tundras.
Yes, because I'm pretty much a Viking.
That's it. Yeah. Don't give him an axe, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the axes away from him.
I love throwing axes and throwing knives, by the way.
And chainsaws.
Yeah.
All the above.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Anyways, let's see. What are we doing here? We're recording a podcast, I think.
Today, yes.
Today. This is going to be Thursday's episode, which means we get to talk a little bit about what we've been up to, some fun stuff going on in our lives, and we have some fun updates. We've got a couple voicemails. We have a few voicemails. Jeez.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll get into a bunch of those there. Let's see if we have some time. We'll do a couple reviews.
Sounds good. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going.
Yeah. Let's see. First update. Let's get this out of the way.
Ready.
Winches are all in.
Yes, they are.
And we have them segregated by shipping versus picking up.
Got it. And I've already stolen mine.
You've stolen yours. I haven't stolen mine yet. I don't know if did you see my my post about the Jeep mod they did on the remotes?
I did.
I thought that was pretty clever of them.
That is super clever of them. I was very impressed that they made a hook on the backside of the wireless handle so that the Jeep people can have it super close to them at all times.
Yep. They can essentially mount it up on their dashboard with their little ham radios.
Yeah.
Little GMRS radios.
That. Yeah. That's a perfect spot for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That way it's a quick access. They can use it as soon as they need it and they don't have to like dig around because, you know, obviously they're going to be needing to use it. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool Jeep mod they did there for the wireless remotes on their winches.
Yeah, the assistant saw the other two winches the other day. She's like, "What are these?" I'm like, "Oh, there are some winches." And she's like, "I thought you already had some." And I'm like, "Yeah, but now I got more."
They gave them to me, babe.
Yeah. How much did they cost? No, they gave them to me. How much did they cost?
That's funny. Yeah, I haven't taken mine home yet because I don't know what mine will do when it show up with three of them.
Just put it on the shelving in the back with the podcast gear.
Oh, yeah, with the other big crate. Did you see the giant crate up on the pallet racking in there?
No, I did not. Did something else come in?
Yes, but it has nothing to do with the podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That came out of your garage.
Yes,
I know that. Okay.
Yeah, that one's back there now. So
excellent.
Yeah, man. It's we got all the winches in. So I've emailed everybody.
Okay.
With payment URLs to get your orders paid. If you are getting your order shipped, your winch shipped to you, I've emailed you and calculated out your shipping for you and got you the payment URL there. So check your emails if you have not seen anything yet. Check your spam folder, get in contact with me. I don't want to have a bunch of these winches stuck around here waiting for a long time. So
is there a due date that you're going to start selling other people's winches?
If they're not paid for, probably, I was going to say by the end of August, but that's like almost today. If they're not paid for by Rubathon, by the end
day this comes out.
Yeah. If they're not paid for by the end of Rubathon, let's put that. I'll put that in there, which is September 12th.
Okay.
So if you have not paid for your winch by September 12th, Sunday, whatever that Sunday is, then starting Monday, I'm going to start selling the other ones and opening it up because I've had quite a few people reach out to me from the posts we've been putting on social media saying, "Oh, I didn't know you got a bunch of winches in. Can I get one of those?" I'm like, "Nope, sorry. They're all spoken for right now."
Sold. You should listen to the podcast and jump on these group buys.
Alex. Oh, yeah. So anyways, double check your emails. If you haven't got anything, reach out to me, because if it's not paid for, I'm going to sell your winch.
Yeah. So you have about 2 weeks.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, that sounds good. So this is also the last day to get in for the Spartan soft shackle recovery hitch.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in getting in for that giveaway item, we're giving 2 of those away along with 2 soft shackles, 2 chances to win. So you need to sign up on Irate 4x4 under the watch list and discuss section, Snail Squad. And then there's the tiers inside there to sign up for the giveaway tier.
Yep.
So today is the last day. Hurry up.
Make it happen. So there's that. Let's see. Do we have next month's figured out yet?
No, we don't.
We're awesome.
We're going to give away a used catalytic converter.
There we go. Let's see. We have a first gen Toyota pickup grill.
We can't give that away.
He'll never know.
He gave it to us as I might want it back one day.
Okay. We have a blown out Ford 9-inch third member.
We got a blue oval.
Oh, let's give away the blue oval. We don't need that.
Yeah.
That's
Although
useless.
everybody will not sign it. Everybody will unsubscribe from the giveaway tier.
Oh, we had nobody enter next month. That's weird. We have Kevin Pool's Noodle.
Or Kevin's Noodles Pool.
Kevin's Pool Noodle? Which one is it?
I don't know. We got a lot of junk around, but we're going to figure out something good for next month.
Yeah, we'll figure out something really good. We are going to be launching a couple of new products from Moreflate, so maybe we'll do a bunch of those.
Ooh, I like that idea.
That could be fun.
Okay.
So, all right. Yeah, we'll talk that over off air and we'll figure that out for everybody. Let's see. We got the Moose Knuckle group buy. I have been busy and have not reached out to Kyle yet, but I have been making a list of everybody that's been reaching out for the Moose Knuckle group buy. So don't worry if you haven't seen an update yet. I just haven't worked on it yet, but I've been keeping everybody tracked of.
Okay.
Excellent.
You've been keeping track of everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dyslexia is hard, Jimmy.
It is. I know.
So anyways, if you're still looking to get in on the Moose Knuckle group buy, please just keep sending those emails in. I'm adding you to the list so that we'll get everybody taken care of as soon as I get in contact with Kyle and get the details of it all. Let's see. What else do we got? We got Rubathon coming up.
Yeah. I'm not going to be out there, unfortunately.
Not going to be out there.
Nope. It's the mini assistant's birthdays weekend. So I've got family responsibilities to do that weekend. It's kind of interesting. We celebrate the mini assistant's birthday every other year, kind of a thing.
Okay.
We do a big party on the even years, and on the odd years, we do a small family get together. Okay. And those are the age she's turning. So she's turning 10 this year, not 2023.
Gotcha. So you guys didn't plan that out very well.
No. No. Yeah. So this year she's turning 10, and we're going to have a birthday party for her, and then we're having a sleepover for her, and we're going to give her a fairly good sized present. So I need to be home for this one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So just family responsibilities, things you need to do. Mm-hmm. So, yep, I won't be out at Rubathon this weekend. Maybe I should tell Ross and open my spot up for Lee or somebody.
Yeah, for Lee to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably make that happen. But Bobcat might be out at Rubathon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Bobcat might be out there. I might need some help changing an inner axle seal.
Okay.
If that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see if Tyler does get his rig back, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. He's still got some work to get done on it before it can be Rubicon ready. Mm-hmm. Where Bobcat just needs a seal replaced. Then it's pretty much Rubicon ready.
Yeah. Yeah, Rubathon's coming up September 6th through 11, 6th through 12, something like that, whatever it is. Should be a really fun event. It's the 35th, I believe.
Oh, is it really?
I think it's 35th.
It's a fun event.
It is a really fun event. Yeah.
I mean, it was I went for the first time last year, and it's a very low key, relaxing time, especially if you do the 4Runner mini truck run.
Yeah.
Because we drive in on Thursday and then and we go all the way to the Springs in one day. And then we have all of Friday to relax and watch some of the groups come in. And then on Saturday, the rest of the groups come in. And then the activities and festivities are all on Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
So really Friday and Saturday morning, you have to yourself.
Yeah.
You can go off wheeling. You can go on hikes. You can lounge by the river. You can feed the otters. You can, do whatever you want.
Catch and cook crayfish.
Catch and cook crayfish. Yeah. Cook chili in the fire. Well, I don't know if you're allowed to have fires then, but yeah. There's a lot to do down at the Rubicon Springs, whether you want to wheel or hike or whatever. So it's nice to have a relaxing day out on the trail.
It is. I really enjoyed that run. So far, it looks like everybody on the mini truck 4Runner run is going to be on 37s or bigger.
Nice.
And it sounds like we have quite a few buggy-esque vehopefully coming on that run. So should be a really fun day on Thursday.
That maybe you'll get there before midnight.
Hopefully. Yeah. It sounds like we only have 2 rigs on 35s.
Oh.
So, and one of them is Cinna that came last year. So
he already knows what he's getting himself into.
He knows what he's getting into. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So Rubathon's coming up. Let's see. What else do we got? There's a bunch of stuff going on in September. It's going to be, I don't know. We haven't even talked about recording schedule for September yet. We'll figure that out.
Yuck and fucks.
Yeah, we might end up having to miss a couple of episodes in September. We're going to try our best not to, but I'm gone like almost all of September.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. And hopefully we won't have too much of a lapse in the recording schedule for you guys out there. Maybe we'll replay a couple of the historic episodes, the history episodes. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. Have we even ever replayed an episode?
I don't think we've ever replayed an episode yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, maybe I'll just do a short episode.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. Maybe
solo short.
I'll take the Starlink with me each time.
Yeah.
And we can see how doing a episode over Starlink.
Ooh, that might be interesting.
That could be fun.
That could be fun. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I was going to send my Starlink off to get modified.
I saw that.
To do the unique componentry modification. And I've been talking with Justin over at Unique Componentry on what it would take and if there's a way to keep it 110 AC as well as having the option for 12 volt DC.
Yeah.
So you have dual voltage options.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, no problem.
Oh, cool.
I was like, bitchin'. Okay, let's do it. But I don't think I'm going to, he said it's about a 4-week turnaround, 3 to 4 week turnaround, something like that. So I think I'm going to hold on to the Starlink until after September.
Yeah.
And then send it to him with everything going on.
After wheeling season.
Yeah.
Yep.
But should be really cool. I think that'd be fun to do and see if that turns how that turns out. We can
definitely try that out sometime.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get a Starlink for the house.
I'm still so impressed with how that thing's been doing and how it does out there. So
I'm just, and it's silly of me, but I'm a little upset at having to pay near $1,000 to get it all.
For everything?
For all for the hardware and, the setups or the brackets and, the mounting systems and then the service, which is whatever, $100.
It's $100 a month. Yeah.
But it's just, it's $600 or $700 for the product. And I'm just like, man, like that's a lot of shitty internet that I could pay for.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. And the thing that you got to think about and just kind of remember is that like Comcast or whoever else, AT&T, if you've got fiber or whatever it is, they work your equipment costs into your bill.
Sure.
So your bill ends up being, $15-20 of it a month is your equipment cost for 2 years. So I don't know.
I get it.
Yeah.
It just is a large payment up front for internet.
Yeah. Go check out Home Depot.
That's what I've heard.
Yep.
I will do that.
Look at the prices on Home Depot for the Starlink hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? What else? There was something else I was going to talk about. I forgot what it was though. ADD. ADD. Look at something sparkly.
ADD and lick sticks. Yeah. Evil combo.
Yes.
Well, let's jump into some voicemails.
Yeah. Let's do some voicemails. See who we got calling us here over the past week. Oh, did you see an email come through from our favorite mathematician?
No.
Oh, Constantine emailed us.
He didn't email me.
What? I'll have to pull it up. After the voicemails, I'll pull it up and we can...
Okay.
I'll get some feedback from Constantine here. All right. So first voicemail. What? This may not be a listener. Well, let's see what this says.
From Florida. I'm ready. I'm out of the bathroom in your podcast. Plus. Goodbye. Great.
What? Was that somebody from Florida in the bathroom
he said
listening
it was,
to the podcast?
Yeah, Mud Raider.
Oh, is that what?
I think he said Mud Raider.
Was that Frank?
Yeah.
Florida Frank. We're not sure what you said. You have to call back. All right. This next one. Oh, it's another $75,000 offer. Let's skip that one.
Nice.
All right. So next one here, a little longer. It doesn't say who it's from, but it is a 916 area code. So they're local. Oh, no, I don't know. There's no name. All right. Let's see who this is from. Okay.
Hey, Jimmy and Tyler. Great show. Cool to hear about how the Marlin Crawler Roundup went. I was there the couple days after, and it was super pretty out there. So keep coming back to the Rubicon. Hopefully I see you out there. Jimmy, if your starter is still having problems, what I did with my Grand Cherokee that just had gremlins for years, took out every fuse in the power control module, scrubbed everything down, blew it out with compressed air, took all the wires off of anything connecting to that module, to the starter, to the block, to any of those grounds, and scrubbed it down with WD-40 and a green scrubby pad, and I've never had starter problems since. So keep trying, keep doing the simple stuff, and you'll find the problem eventually. Peace, love, and Nissan.
Nissans.
We have Nissan listeners?
I guess. But he was at a Grand Cherokee that he was working on.
Yeah, seriously.
He's
a local. That's weird.
He actually sent me a message on Instagram as well.
Oh, okay.
And said similar to the same thing. And then we started talking about some other things going on. But I think that's one of the next steps that I'm going to have to do is just literally disconnect the ground wires and all kinds of different things and try to clean them all up and make sure that they're the right size and gauge, and which I'm pretty sure they are. I think I've already made them larger, the larger sizes, but I think it might, at this point, it just might be a connection issue to some extent.
I mean, it definitely behaves almost like a loose connection, but it also behaves like it's just maybe not getting enough voltage every once in a while.
Yeah, that's sort of what I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. And it's now become a gremlin. I thought I had it solved, and now it's randomly causing me to have somebody use the starter to get me going.
Yeah.
This gentleman also said that a lot of people will change out the solenoids for tractor solenoids because tractor solenoids can require a lower voltage to start the cranking on the starter. So I might look into that and figure that out, but it seems a little awkward to I don't know, changing solenoids out on a starter of some sort.
Yeah, have to dig into the starter.
Yeah. I also spoke to Dave McKinney, and he told me from Rubicon Trail Adventures, and he told me that there's a guy out in Auburn that rebuilds starters and will make sure that they're all working correctly instead of being a refurbished one from like Napa or something. Yeah. That you're kind of just relying on their quality.
Mm-hmm. Which a lot of times they don't go and replace the solenoids in those when they redo the starters. Yeah.
So I might go just buy a brand new starter and not a refurbished one. I might take my starter or a starter up to that guy and have him build me a new one and then switch them out. Or while doing that, I might just clean all the terminals as best I possibly can. So yeah, I think that's sort of my next step. And then if that doesn't work, I'll probably set up a start button.
Yeah.
I don't know what
just
else to necessarily
the whole starter circuit.
Yeah. Disconnect it from the tumbler and then set up a wire connection straight to the tumbler or to the starter, excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. And set it up that way. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'll definitely keep everybody updated with that gremlin. Yeah. So
cool. All right. Let's see. Next one.
Yeah. We got another one.
Jordan from Las Vegas.
Sweet.
Jordan's calling in from Vegas. Here we go. Let's see what.
Is he the one that had that gave us the suggestion of was it an avalanche?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
This might be Avalanche Vegas guy. Looks like he has some thoughts about your starter, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Let's see what Jordan has to say.
Hey, Jimmy and 4x4 Tyler. This is Jordan calling in from Las Vegas.
I don't like Jordan anymore.
I just had thoughts about Jimmy and his starter. I had a very similar problem with an older car of mine, and what I had to do was move the negative out from the starter that would go to like the ground and re-ground it on the frame closer to the battery. It sounds like you're getting not a clean contact for your grounding. So that'd be my suggestion. Give that a shot. Like I said, doesn't work for me. So thanks a lot, guys, and keep crawling.
That's another good, interesting thought, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder why running it to the frame would be a better advantage than running to the ground of the battery.
That's a good question. Maybe you've got some corrosion on your battery. Your battery terminals look pretty good, though.
It's a brand new battery.
Yeah, right?
It's a brand new XS battery that was donated by Trent Roberts.
Yeah.
Our friend and 48? 40?
He's in 48.
4800 racer? Yeah. 4811. Yes, that's his number.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's multiple people now that are all kind of thinking the same. It sounds like an intermittent connection issue.
Kind of, yeah. So, all right. Well, that means I'm going to start building some cables. I think I'll do larger gauge cables and make some nice clean ones. And I mean, I have a big crimper and some big connections. So
yeah,
I'll just build some fat cables that go from the starter to the battery and battery to starter.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll also, I mean, would there be an advantage or disadvantage to running it from the battery to the start, or from the ground to the starter, and then from the starter to the frame?
I mean, not necessarily. Typically, the starter grounds itself out through the mounting on the side of your engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So by that, if that's true, then I would just ground. So I just need to ground it somewhere else.
Maybe
is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Try and get the ground from the starter. Maybe it's not clean
right
in between where that flange surface is that it's mating on the block.
Sure.
So maybe you can find a clean spot on the starter and get a ground over to the battery or something.
Yeah.
I know now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why I didn't think about this before. With my old 4Runner, I had the 22RE in it, and I had an issue with the starter where if I had the top bolt on the starter all the way in and torqued down properly, it wouldn't start the engine. It did what yours is doing. It just clicks. And once I backed it out a little bit so that it wasn't torqued all the way in and there was a tiny, ever so slightly bit of play in that top bolt, it worked just fine every time.
Why would that be?
I have no clue why, but that was my fix.
Huh.
And I never had an issue with it as long as I kept that bolt with a tiny little bit of play in the top.
Really interesting. I wonder, maybe I can put a bigger washer or something up there that it kind of spreads the grounding out to a bigger surface area.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
All right. Well, I mean, thank you, Jordan, for calling in. I mean, I'm open to all sorts of suggestions, and I'll try them incrementally and figure out what ends up solving it. Who knows if Tyler does take Bobcat out on Rubathon, maybe I'm just going to leave it so he has to deal with the starter until afterwards.
Yeah. Cool, man. So let's see. Those are voicemails.
Excellent. Well,
thanks for calling in, everybody.
Thanks for calling in. Yeah. Thanks for all the suggestions. Appreciate it.
Florida Frank, you're going to have to call back.
Yes, please do.
Let's see. What else do we got going on the docket for today? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. We went camping a little ways outside of Grass Valley, really kind of between Grass Valley and Marysville.
Okay.
Like down Highway 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And for the route for us to get there was actually drive up to Marysville and hit 20 and head up towards Grass Valley. So that was the faster route for us. We went out to this lake and it was my wife's, or the assistant is in a mom's group. It's called MOPS. It's like for mothers for I don't know, younger kids. I forgot.
Okay.
It stands for something, and I don't even remember what it is. Regardless, it was so she's in this MOPS group, which is actually really good. I think it's good for the wives out there to have female friends and females that they could talk to about situations or things that are happening in the children's lives, or even with their husbands or whatever. You know, they can vent and relax to this group that's all there for support.
Yeah.
So about once a year, they do a camping trip, and that was this weekend. So we went to a place that we've never been to. It was called St. Francis Resort.
Okay.
And it was at St. Francis Lake. And they do kind of, it was an interesting spot because they do have somewhat of a resort. They do have a building out there that is sort of like a cabin or a hotel to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
It has a swimming pool. It had a general store. It has sort of a area that people could congregate at.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also had a big camping ground area with RV hookups or, electrical hookups to just dry camping. And they weren't really separated. So I thought that was interesting because normally like the RV camping's on one side and tent camping's on the other side. But this one was all mixed up.
Huh.
So, which worked out pretty well for us because some of the people in the group had an RV, some of the people brought trailers, and some people like us were just dry camping.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice because then we were all able to get near each other in the same general area.
Yeah.
Instead of having people spread out. Besides that, we got up there on Friday after work, set up the tents and made dinner, relaxed. Not a whole lot went on Friday night. Just sort of kicked back, had some whiskey, and talked to some friends. Almost everybody showed up on Friday night. One couple showed up on Saturday. But Saturday we had a fairly lazy morning, and then we went down to the lake and spent the whole entire day down at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got sunburnt. And I swam across the lake.
Wow, look at you go.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I don't know. So I tried to set my watch up, but my watch didn't run for distance. It only ran for time. Unfortunately, it took me 12 minutes to swim across the lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Did you freestyle the whole way, or?
I did. Yeah. And if I was going slow, I would probably be swimming like 2-minute 100s.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was 600 yards across the lake.
Okay.
And if I was swimming a little faster, which is probably minute 30s, I think that's 800 yards across the lake.
Okay.
So, if it was 800 yards, like a nautical mile is like 1650. So that's almost a mile there and back.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know why. Swimming's a little weird because they had their mile race is 1650, but if you do the math, it's not. It comes out to be 17 something, like an actual mile.
Okay.
In yards. So it was maybe it was either almost a mile or not that close to a mile. One way or the other.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was 1,200 yards or 1,600 yards round trip.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun. And I was trying to get the mini assistant to go swimming with me, but there was these, kids called them seaweed, but it was like these, it was lakeweed, right? Because we weren't in the sea. I kept trying to correct them. Like, we're not in the sea. This can't be seaweed. But there was these vines that were growing up from the bottom of the lake. And there was a section like right at the shore where there was none of them. And then there was this like 10 to 15 feet like off the shore, that was maybe 5 or 6 feet long of this like lakeweed. And none of the kids wanted to swim through it. They're all like, oh, it's going to tangle up on us and we're going to drown and all this stuff. So eventually I just grabbed the mini assistant and I swam her out past it. And then she was freaking out because she was like, it's too deep. I can't touch the ground. I'm like, yeah, but you're treading water. You're fine.
Yeah.
And then she's like, but I have to swim back through the weeds and I'm going to get stuck. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I swam her back and then I was like, you want to swim across the lake with me? And she's like, no. And I was like, I'm going to swim across the lake. And she's like, no, you're not. It's so far. And I was like, see ya.
Bye.
And then I swam across the lake. And then I guess when I was like halfway there, all the moms were freaking out.
That you were out there?
That I was out like halfway through this lake. And there was like no motorboats. I don't know if motorboats were even allowed out on the lake. There was a bunch of paddle boards and some kayakers, but I think they were more freaked out because they're like, he's so far away. What happens if something, happens to him?
No one can get him.
No one can get him. And the assistant's like, he's a fish.
He'll
Like,
be
just
fine.
let him go. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't anything, like he was a, grew up as a swimmer his entire life. He knows his limits. And that when I got back, even the mini assistant asked, she's like, what happens if you got tired? I was like, well, I'd roll over on my back and float.
Yeah, I'd float for a while.
And rest. And then I'd swim some more. She's like, oh, okay. So I did that. Then I played with the kids for a while, threw them into the seaweed, lakeweed, and they freaked out, and then pulled them back in. And the girls made a mud bath area. Then they, so you could go and get your legs pampered with some nice lake mud and get a whatever they, you go to the store or whatever, those fashion places, and they put mud on your face. Well, the ladies wanted to put mud on their legs. So
okay,
I did that. So I got my legs all, fancy and nice looking, and
you're
fake
all
tanned for a little while.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, and then we hung out there all day. It was funny because the lake was farther away than we had anticipated it being. And we had to drive down to the lake. Wasn't for our campground. It wasn't close enough to walk.
Okay.
And we had the rooftop tent, and we're like, oh man. So we were trying to figure out if somebody could take us, or if we just, jump in with somebody.
Sounds like a point for a ground tent.
Kind of. Yeah. Or a trailer.
Yeah.
But, and we were trying to figure out if we could just throw all of our stuff in somebody else's rig and then we could walk down there. But eventually I'm like, you know what? We don't have a lot of stuff in the rooftop tent. Let's just pull the pillows out. We'll fold it up. We don't need to collapse it the whole way. We'll just sort of, Velcro it down and leave it be. Yeah. And we'll just drive down there. And that actually worked out really well, because then we had our fridge down there. We had a lot of the food down there. We had a lot of drinks down there, and we were pretty much the supplier to everybody, because a lot of people are like, oh, we'll be down there for a few hours, and they brought a few drinks and then lunch. But we were down there until 5
all day.
And so we were handing out, we handed out all of our drinks. Kids were coming up wanting some bubble water or regular water, and adults were coming up wanting, Trulies or White Claws or, what else did we had?
Cutwaters.
We had a Cutwater, and we had some Coors Lights. And we were we handed out everything we had.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because more people wanted to drink, and the kids were thirsty because they've been in the sun all day. So we were sort of this saving grace for all these families. And then when we went back to camp, everybody's like, you're all out. We'll give you all of our drinks now. Yeah. So I was drinking everybody else's drinks all night long.
Nice.
Yeah. So that worked out pretty well. And it was a benefit that we ended up driving down there. That evening we did a big old taco bar. And everybody sort of brought little things to add to the taco bar, which was fun. And then I pretty much just made nachos, though. I was like, I'll just take that meat and throw it on chips, and take that cheese and throw it on chips, and made my own nachos.
Nice.
Yeah, so that worked out. We weren't out terribly late because everybody was pretty tired from being in the sun all day, and I think most of everybody went to bed by 11. It was.
Gotcha.
And they were really good at this place for quiet hours at 10, because there was a camp not terribly far from us that was playing music a little loud, louder than I appreciated. But they right at 10 o'clock, I think somebody went by and was like, you guys got to turn that off.
Oh, nice. Yeah. A camp host or another?
Yeah, there was people driving around until 1 in the morning, I think, in little golf carts, just making sure everybody's following the rules.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not dispersed camping. We're at a resort. So I think there was, they want you to follow the rules. It's not, I think it was more than a KOA, it was fancy camping to some extent. But the next day, a lot of people went home they all woke up, packed up, went home. We woke up, packed up, went back down to the lake for a few hours. Let the kids play, relaxed. Just that I think I went in the water for 5 minutes, just more or less hung out at the lake, just in a chair talking. I think we played Yahtzee, didn't do much of anything. Let the kids wear themselves out. And man, that was driving home was one of the first times that I've seen the mini assistant actually fall asleep in the car.
Like passed out.
Yeah. She doesn't normally do that. Like even when she's like, I'm so tired, we're like, take a nap. And she's like, no, and we're like, okay,
I got games to play.
Yeah. I got things to do.
Yeah.
But she didn't, we took one of the other MOPS kids, who's one of the mini assistant's friends, up with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, I'm going to play with this friend the whole way up. And we're like, cool. And then when we went to go home, the friend went with her parents. And then, so we're on the way home and she's like, I don't have anything to do. So I think there was, to some extent, she didn't have, we don't let her use a tablet or anything if it's like over an hour. And this was like an hour and 20 minutes. So we didn't really push the tablet thing, and she didn't concern herself with it because she had her friend with her at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think she was kind of bored and didn't have anything to do. And so she did take a nap, and she was tired. She was super tired. So, but yeah, got home and then just, unpacked the trucks and did laundry and cleaned the house a little bit. And that was the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was good. It was fun to meet some of the husbands of the wives that I hear a lot about.
Gotcha.
Right. There's not, the ladies get together and then they come home and, and they, the assistant tells me about all what so-and-so is doing or what this other person's doing. And then, now this was a time that we all get together, and now I get to talk to the husband of this other person that I hear a lot about. So it's kind of a neat time to understand more of the family atmosphere of these people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And so that happens once a year pretty much?
Yeah, they do it about once a year. It's at different times. Usually it's earlier, but they really didn't schedule it until too late. And they're like, oh, crud. Like when, we need to find a camping spot and a camping weekend.
Yeah.
And during summer, everything's booked up. And now that school's back in, there's a lot of vacancies. Like at the campground was probably half full.
Yeah.
So they found this spot, and I think it was suggested to him by another mom in the group, and they contacted him and they're like, yeah, we need like 10 spots. And they're like, yeah, no problem. So,
nice.
Yeah. So normally it's a little earlier in the year, but yeah, I think it worked out better because it was a little later. Wasn't as chaotic in a campground. I think more people, people aren't necessarily out of town doing other things because they're now home for school.
Yeah.
So I thought it went pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. I got to go over and check out the Forerunner.
Yeah.
So update time.
I heard a little bit about that. Yeah. So so is the rear all buttoned up?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's pretty much all set, ready to go. We're just waiting on the correct length limit straps.
Got it.
From Brian. We have some other limit straps in right now that are, I'm borrowing.
Got it.
To make sure that it's all cycling properly. But yeah, the rear is in. Everything is set up and pretty much ready to go on the rear. So
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I did see some extremely tight tolerances happening in the front.
Yeah. It's super tight. And it's all of it is because of
you're doing something stupid.
I'm doing something stupid.
It's really what it is.
It's totally something stupid. I'm trying to take a second gen Forerunner that has a different engine in it that is set down. So I don't have to cut into my hood because usually in the second gen Forerunners, if you want to do a 3.4 swap, the air intake plenums sit up higher than the 3.0s.
Correct. Yeah.
And so if you want to do a 3.4 swap and use the same engine mounts, you end up having to cut a hole in your hood.
Yeah. Or at least cutting out some of those support brackets that are in that hood. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, in order to avoid that and cutting out support brackets, everything, we set the engine down lower vertically on the height of the vehicle. Right.
Correct. Yeah.
And so, with the engine in that position, they needed to build a new frame as well.
Okay.
So I got to take a look at my frame. They have it still, my old one. It is so messed up.
Oh, I bet.
It's literally where the front spring hangers are. It's cracked all the way around that. And I've welded it back up and it's like re-cracking again already. The notch where we had to notch the frame for the air conditioning pulley, that's cracking up and around everything. It's pretty bad.
I bet.
So the leaf springs beat the hell out of the stock frame, and which was all part of the plan when planning on doing all this. I was like, well, let's put a better frame in, like a stronger frame, better. It'll fit better for the application. We can notch it on both sides so the axle can articulate better and get better up travel. And so, yeah, that's what they did. And they built a magnificent, awesome frame.
Oh, it looks awesome. I've seen some of the photos on both your page and Ori's page, and they have some skills, man. That's a beautiful, beautiful frame.
Dude, I'll give it to them. Ori is a fabricator, right? He knows how to work metal and set up suspensions. He's really good at suspensions, anything automotive.
Sure.
Alex, on the other hand, he's also really good at setting stuff up, but his specialty is in manipulating metal.
Yeah.
That dude can manipulate metal.
Cool.
And it is so cool, the shit that he does with metal. They just got done working on a old school square body GMC.
Okay.
For Trevor's brother. So Trevor, WFO Trevor.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah. So that GMC, they just finished it and it went out on the Rubicon, and it was such a huge hodgepodge. Like, it's more of a Frankenstein vehicle than the 4Runner is now. But the bed that he did in the back of that GMC is a work of art.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it.
Amazing. The Instagram for Alex is Exquisite Metalworks.
Okay.
So if you get a chance to go look at the Instagram, I'm pretty sure that there's some really cool pictures of some of the metal work that Alex does. But yeah, so Alex put together the frame. They worked with him, and Ori worked on getting all the measurements, figuring out how they were going to do it. And I'm really happy with the end result. Nice. Of the front frame section.
Okay.
They made the frame, the box. It's a full boxed frame now. They made the frame itself taller. Yeah. They made it wider.
Okay.
Each of the boxes, right? And they put in supports inside the frame.
Yes.
So it is infinitely and exponentially stronger than the stock frame.
Right. But do you need it to be?
Not necessarily with links.
Yeah. I mean, now your stress points were sort of where the shocks are a little bit, but not nearly as much stress is going through that as when the leaf springs were in the front.
No, but
both you and I are on frames where they aren't designed for leaf springs.
Correct. Yeah, they're designed for IFS.
Yeah, exactly. So we were kind of modifying the frame even then. But yeah, it's kind of funny in a way that they're making such a beefy frame when in a way it could be a little bit lighter.
It could be a little bit lighter, but it's not as heavy, I think, as like the stock frame with frame plates, everything on it.
Yeah.
So like if you have like the steering box frame plates and frame plates for the shock towers and everything that you normally have on the stock frames, you don't need any of that with this.
Got it.
So I know that he did it with a little bit lighter gauge metal because he overlapped the corners and got them all welded in. And then he has all the reinforcements inside the frame too. So I don't know how it compares weight wise to like the stock frame.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's definitely stronger.
Oh, it's a hell of a lot stronger.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Two of the cool things they did with it was they made the overall dimensions of the entire frame so a little bit wider.
Okay.
It's about 1 to 1.5 inches wider overall.
Where the wheels are?
For the inside of the frame. Inside frame.
For where the engine mounts are.
Yes.
Okay.
So they made that wider so that we don't have to notch anything for the air conditioning pulley.
Yeah. Right.
So the air conditioning pulley and everything clears there just fine.
Got it.
On the new frame. And they also set up the bumper holes in the front for mounting and bolting a bumper. They set them up in the exact same position as the stock frame.
Okay.
So I can take my old bumper and put it right back on now.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'll have to figure out how to tie in the side supports of it. But which I'm not sure if I want to use that bumper or not. I want to use probably the winch cradle of it, but I think I want to make and design my own bumper. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. But I've thought about doing it for Charlotte, the Tacoma. Man, it's just going to be a lot of work and time.
Right. It is. And I have the affordable bender that I still haven't used yet. And I've been saving it for this project of building the bumpers and the fender sliders.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be so wide that I'm going to need something to help police from needing to pull me over all the time for my tires sticking out so far from my body.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need to build some sort of fenders over, and I have a couple of ideas of how I want to do it. So that's kind of why I got the affordable bender in the first place. And so I'm excited to get to dive into that project.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, the front from the frame turned out great. They kept the VIN plate, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you said that.
And everything else coming off of the frame then is all the suspension brackets.
Right.
So the bump cans, the panhard brackets, the shock towers. They're making all that. So it's turning out really, really well.
They're making it, or that they're using the 4-wheel underground ones?
Yeah, good question. So because of the just crazy thing, the stupid thing I'm doing with this vehicle, and how wide the axle is and how big the pumpkin is, the tolerances on where everything packages is super tight. I have about 1/4 of an inch between the upper link mount coming off of the pumpkin and my slave cylinder for my clutch.
Okay.
So we're actually looking like we're going to have to grind down part of the clutch, part of the slave cylinder in order to get the clearance just right.
Wow.
So less than 1/4 of an inch there. Let's see, from the panhard bar to the oil pan, because my engine is set down further than what a typical 3.0 engine would be in that 4Runner. I have about 1/2 an inch of clearance between the panhard bar and the oil pan.
Okay.
I have about 3/4 of an inch of clearance between the, the drag link bolt going through the pitman arm and the panhard bar and the frame. So there's like 3/4 of an inch between those three things.
Yeah.
And then the tie rod has like less than 1 millimeter of clearance between the filler cap or the viewport cap on the third member, the pumpkin, and just the outer ridge of how the pumpkin is shaped. Right. That circular.
And is that when the tires are turned a certain way?
Yeah. So that's at full lock.
Okay. At turning driver.
Either way.
Passenger, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. So turned either way at full lock, I've got less than 1 millimeter clearance. The tie rod sits just perfectly right in there between the plate of the pumpkin and the filler cap. Like right in that little notch there. So the cool thing is that the Reed Super Kingpin knuckles, you get 45 degrees of steering out of them with the 1550 U-joints. And as of right now, without the tires being on, I'm getting all 45 degrees of steering.
Wow. Okay.
They made it everything clearance just fine with that.
Yeah. So when the tires are on,
well, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to see what happens.
How much body you hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Surprisingly at full bump. So both sides at full bump, there's about 4 to 5 inches of clearance between the top of the tire and the fender.
Okay. The top of the tire and the center of the top of the fender.
Correct.
What about your like wheel or what's that section of the body called down at the base of your fender?
The firewall down there?
Rocker rails.
The rocker rails. So we moved the whole axle forward about 3 to 4 inches.
Okay.
So we got plenty of clearance there. I probably have enough clearance to run 42s on the front just fine.
Wow.
Right now.
But what about that's full bump on both sides? What about articulated?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to come up pretty damn close to the fender, if not eat into the fender. The rear is a little tighter. At full bump, there's about 2.5 inches of clearance. So during full articulation, I'm pretty sure that is going to go up into the fender. So they're working on that this week and just tightening up the clearances on the fenders. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have to trim the rear fender all the way up to the gas cap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So, there's those.
I was concerned about your door.
Oh, my door. Yeah. I think we're going to be fine on the door.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see so because the front axle is so wide, I was talking about the clearances. The strike pads that Brian does for his suspension kits.
Yeah.
The lower links are the lower link brackets on the front axle have the strike pads built into them.
Okay. Yeah.
which is pretty cool. It's a really rad design. It's all one unit, one bracket, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, my pumpkin is so big and it has to be set in such a perfect spot for the upper link clearance to get up in there that I only have like 6-7 inches of tube on the short side of that axle. And so there's not a way to get that lower link mount in closer so that it's underneath the frame. It's outboard of the frame quite a bit because of just where the pumpkin is and how big that freaking pumpkin is, that 10.5.
Right.
And so because of that, the bump cans, you can't get them to match up with the strike pads on the axle. So we had to make new bump cans that stick out further away from the frame. They're outboarded more of the frame so that they line up with the strike pads that are built into Brian's brackets.
Got it.
But
that's not bad.
That's really not bad considering the Frankenstein of what this vehicle is.
Yeah.
And what's going on with it. If that's the only modification we really have to do, that's pretty damn good.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, that's what it sounds like is that, here's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a second gen 4Runner that it doesn't have the correct engine in it.
Correct.
The engine's in the wrong spot.
Correct.
And I'm putting incorrect axles underneath it that are wider, that pretty much wider than full width.
They're wider than Super Duty axles. Yeah.
Yeah. And a pumpkin that's bigger than bigger than Super Duties.
Uh-huh.
And all I have to modify is a bump can.
Yeah.
Location.
Yeah.
And everything else.
And a frame.
Well,
a completely custom frame that's isn't
true.
in the
I didn't
same
say
spot.
That. Yeah. So, and they've modified a frame, but even then you said the frame is wider.
A little bit wider. Yep.
And it's still, you have to extend the bump stop can.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit the strike pads because your axles are so wide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have a larger third member, you can't actually put the bracket in the spot that it's sort of designed for.
Exactly.
But it still works.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Like just everything that Brian has done with those brackets and set up, it's so universal. He has a lot of thought into it on, different radiuses for the axle mount so that it's like in between a 3.5 or a 4-inch tube so that you can wallow it out a little bit and have it on a 4-inch or just put it right on a 3.5 and it works.
Right. Yeah.
So
and it sounds like some of the tolerances for some of the angles of placement for the center of the axle to the exterior of the axle, you have a little bit of play in there to make it work or still work fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So even though your axle is, what did you say, 15 inches wider?
Yeah. 15 inches on the WMS once you have the rotors.
On the WMS. Yeah. So the axle's significantly wider, but everything still works.
Yeah, everything's still working on it. It's pretty cool.
That's rad. So on this Frankenstein of a 4Runner, are you trying to change the name, by the way? You don't want it to be Kermit anymore? You want it to be Frankenstein?
Frankenstein could work. He was green too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
We just need to figure out, put some bolts.
Oh, that'd be fun.
On, through the tailgate or something.
Yeah.
Sticking out.
But it's coming along. We talked a lot yesterday about the different stuff going on and where things had to be placed and just how tight all the tolerances are in the front end there. So really all that's left to do is finish up welding the shock towers, which I believe they got done yesterday.
Okay.
And then set up the steering ram. So I ended up with an 8 3/4 inch throw by 1 3/4 inch shaft ram from PSC.
Okay.
And so that's going to get limited down to 8.5 inches of throw. And that came in yesterday as well. So that's going on today. But he has all the hydraulic lines made. All the brake lines are made. And then so really all it is installing the ram, the hydraulic lines for the ram, bleeding the steering system, which I don't know how he's going to do because he can't start the engine. Maybe I'll have to do that at home.
Strong arm
it. And then brake lines, install the brake lines, and then check the clearances on axle articulation for the fenders.
Wow.
And then, so I might be picking it up Friday or Saturday this week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So kudos to them. I didn't think they were going to get it done before Rubathon.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're going to get it done for Rubathon, and it's going to be up to me to get it up and running before Rubython now,
Right.
because we ended up cutting all the electrical out of it because my batteries, my dual battery system was tucked up underneath the rear cargo area. Well, that's where the underbed coilover mounts are now.
Sure. Right.
So I think I've talked it over and a lot with Ozzy, because he's a 12 volt. I don't want to say a guru, but he's a nut job with 12 volt stuff. So he's an Aussie. I guess all Aussies are for some reason. And we decided to go with a lithium cranking battery.
Really?
Yeah.
Does anybody make that?
Yes, there's 2 or 3 companies now making them.
Okay.
They're very expensive.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's going to be one battery and it'll be able to do the same job as a dual battery AGM system.
Okay.
Because lithiums have a BMS in it, battery monitoring system, which creates a full 12 volts, like all the way until they die. Right.
Right.
So you get a lot more amp hours, usable amp hours out of lithium batteries than you do out of AGMs in the same size. It's almost double.
Wow.
So I'm going to get a cranking battery.
So one battery that is going to be replacing 2 batteries for the most part.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Yep. And
we'll hear how well that works here in the future.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. The main concern with doing a lithium cranking battery on an off-road vehicle is
cold weather.
Cold weather would be one. So it's going to stay in the cab. I think I'm going to put it and mount it in the cab, and I'm going to delete my subwoofer.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That's almost as bad as taking out the AC for you.
I know. I'm a little worried. No, I think what I'm going to end up doing is delete the subwoofer, which will be really nice because it sits behind my seats, my back seats right now.
Yeah.
So with the subwoofer in there, I can't fold down my back seats.
Right.
And so if I delete the subwoofer and put in a roll bar, the way kind of like the first gen 4Runners have,
yeah,
I can then put marine speakers in there.
Yep.
And not need a subwoofer. And I can fold down the back seats.
Sure. Yes.
So I'm thinking about doing that and building in a little box for a battery box.
Isn't there room in like the fender / like behind the tires?
Kind of.
Yeah. Like, is there cubbies there? Like there is on first gens, there's cubbies back there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's cubbies in second gens.
You mean in the rear cargo area?
Yeah. In the rear cargo area, behind, in the fender, like under the windows, behind the tire.
Yep. Yeah, there is. Right now I have a 10.6 compressor in one of those right now.
Got it.
But I really I love the onboard air system, right? So I can just plug in the hose. I don't have to pull a compressor out, hook up to batteries or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, but I really love the portability of the Morphlate stuff. So I'm thinking about taking out that 10.6, possibly putting a battery there.
Yeah.
Or put the battery in the cab in the cargo area in a battery box or something, and run all the electrical up to a giant bus bar in the engine bay. And that way I can run everything back to the engine bay and run all the electrical out of there.
Got it.
So I got to figure that out and get the vehicle, the engine running before September 6th.
Yep.
September 5th, really.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. They're giving me some time to do it.
A little bit.
But yeah, we'll see if we can make it happen and see if we can get Kermit out to Rubython with just a running engine. Right. I won't have a winch hooked up. I won't have bumpers and recovery points. So hopefully I won't need them. I won't have a welder. I won't have built-in radios. I won't have really a stereo system. I might have the stereo system. I think
priorities.
I think that's tied into the vehicle's electrical. That's why the main wiring harness. So I really just need to get the main harness and the starter operational.
Yeah. Tell me about starters.
Yeah. Mine works great.
Yeah.
So
maybe I just need a 3.4.
That would, there's just something there.
I'd probably do a 3RZ.
3RZ would be killer in Bobcat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the brand new 4-cylinder 2.4.
The one in the Bronco?
No. The one in the new Tacoma or the new Land Cruiser or I don't even know. Did they put that in the Tundra?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
They just did the V6 for every option.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that new 4-cylinder might be interesting.
Hey, just got to get it all happy. All
Yeah,
the electrical happy on
Yeah,
it.
so much stupid electrical in
All
there.
the sensors everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or you can just put it in and green sticker it.
Yeah. No, not going to happen.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I can drive Bobcat to and from the trails if I need to.
I do too. I love that. I hate trailer logistics, and I love the option of being able to go all the way through a trail.
Mm-hmm.
So especially like the Rubicon, so I can go to Sonny's barbecue afterwards.
Yeah. Well, like for the example of Marlin Crawler Roundup, I didn't want to have to deal with trailer logistics at an event weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to drive the truck there, and I'm not going to deal with parking a truck in a trailer.
Yeah, with everybody else's trucks and
everybody
trailers.
else's trucks and trailer. I'm just going to drive there and drive the con and then come out and drive home.
Yep.
And yeah, it was fine.
Nice.
I did have a vibration going on, but I did also candy cane a little bit of the drive shaft.
Yeah,
so
you did.
I'm also halfway tempted at this point to just go to Rancho Toyota Recycling and buying
The carrier bearing.
the correct drive shaft for that truck.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Oh, I need to call SAC Driveline.
you need to make some drive lines.
I need to make some drive lines. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
so
that might be a holdup.
That might. We'll see.
But they should be able to get you the measurements.
Yeah, they should be able to get the measurements. I think what I really need is the Tundra U-joint ends of the drive shafts.
Got it.
So that's the big thing I need. So I need to call SAC Driveline, see if they have them. If not, then maybe go pull some drive shafts from some Tundras over at Rancho Toyota Recycling.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man. So 4Runner's almost done.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I need to do a Barrett Lake trip this year. So
okay. I can't wait to see it on the road.
Yeah.
It's going to be freaking awesome looking.
The stance on it is so sexy.
It is. It really is. Yes.
Yeah. So once we get it back, I still have all the measurements of what the 4Runner was before this whole change. I have it right here in my hand on some cardboard. So once we get the 4Runner back, we'll take measurements, all these measurements again, and see how they compare.
Yeah.
And then what we think that'll do to the wheeling abilities of it.
Yeah. It'll be a fun discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Well, if you guys have any questions for us, you can always reach us via email at Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. You can find us on Instagram. I'm over at snailtrail4x4. Tyler watches over his account, 4x4 Toyota Tyler, soon to be changing to 4x4 Ford Yoda Tyler.
Super Tundra Tyler.
Super Tundra Tyler.
Uh-huh.
Tundra?
Yeah, the axles.
Axles. Okay.
My axles are Super Tundra axles.
Something you're not telling me here? Somebody get in a Tundra?
No, I do really want to get a new tow rig. And so I've gotten to drive an F-250 now and a Dodge 2500. I like the Dodge better.
Ooh, shots fired.
I don't know. I love inline engines.
Yeah.
Inline engines are awesome. And that 6.7 Cummins inline is sweet.
It is. Yeah, the engine in that vehicle is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you want to call in and tell Tyler how big of an idiot he is, you can always do that at 916-345-4744.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to give a shout out. Thank you to everybody who wrote me, messaged me, whatever, about my grandfather. That was cool to see the support from listeners. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
I heard that too. And, we've said it before many of times that, we enjoy the feedback from everybody out there. If it wasn't for some of the feedback and for the support that we get from listeners, that we probably wouldn't hit the big red button over here.
Yeah.
We'd still be doing the bullshit talking, and we'd still be talking about everything and doing everything that we normally do. We just wouldn't be recording it as much.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool for everybody that did write in and say, talk to Tyler about things in his life. So cool. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yep. So Jimmy, with that, any final words for everybody out there?
Sunscreen.
Yes, please. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Uh-oh. I'm going to get this one.
You might actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if I've said this one before, but
your confidence is misplaced, Jimmy.
I heard it on Wheeling Wine and Whiskey and it reminded me of it. And so I'm going to possibly repeat myself, but I think it's a funny one.
Okay.
Do you know what the number one cause of divorce is?
No.
Marriage.
Fair. Yes, I would agree.